got to be prepared to have a 24/7 mentality, almost both physically and mentally, because, and we're talking here about the SME market, there's always something happening within the companies.
You need to decide how much time you can afford to give to the role.
I think my first tip would be for them not to take on a non-executive or trustee role unless they have the time to do it. It's more than just attending board meetings. There may be involvement with subcommittees, with board development sessions, but actually connecting with the organisation and spending time with the organisation, understanding the business of time is critically important.
You need to decide on what sectors may be appropriate. I've made a number of mistakes in my career where I thought that I knew about a particular sector or I wanted to get involved in that sector, and it proved not to be for me for various reasons.
I think they should try and get some experience in perhaps an unremunerated post, such as working as a charitable trustee or as a school governor, or perhaps in connection with some of the different committees that their local authority might run. And there's lots of information on the internet, in third sector websites. The Guardian on a Wednesday would have lots of information around those kinds of posts.
Give yourself a choice of companies. Don't just take the first job that comes along. Give yourself a choice so that it's the right one for you. And I hope that at that point then you can make an informed decision, because the responsibilities are great being a non-exec, and certainly as a starter you don't want to make a mistake for the first one.
Also, you've got to be prepared, because it's a very serious business being a director of a company. There's legal, there's commercial, and there's moral responsibilities.
I think somebody should set themselves objectives within their non-executive role and review them on an annual basis with their chairman. I think there's also something around preparation for board meetings, and the most fundamental way of doing that is to read your board papers and to understand what the gist of those issues are and what some of the challenges or some of the contributions that you can make as a non-exec in the board forum and maybe outside the board forum to strengthening those particular matters for the organisation.
Find a network of people or a specialist recruitment agency who specialises in this area, who can match you up with an appropriate company and give you some advice from their own experience of how NEDs work in smaller companies.
I think there's also something about using your networks, both professional networks and more broadly, and there's often opportunities just in conversation with business contacts that people might want to pursue.
Getting yourself known and talking to specialist recruitment agencies who are involved in non-exec appointments. They normally have all the background to the particular companies.
I think it would be helpful if there were more agencies around to enable better connections between non-executives, boards, businesses and other organisations and sort of knit those together. And I suppose recruitment agencies would be another avenue to pursue, but you'd need to have your CV really up to date in order to take that forward.